We have such a beautiful world out there. What are you afraid of?
The unknown.
The unknown. Yeah. And along with that, what Neela said, you're attached to something and your fear of losing it. And if you lose it, the pain that comes with that. You see? And so it boils up in you. Your nature is anger. Anger. I'm going to lash out. If it's a person who cut me off in the car, if it's a person who, we all know that, in the supermarket jumps in front while we're in a big hurry, what's the difference, right? What is the difference? We're going to learn a little bit about anger, all of us, right? Put more peace and not get angry from things that happen, stuff that could happen, and when people want to get up in your face and say something. If you had to put it into 3 categories, what's the first that you would say?
The first I would say is just don't judge anyone.
Okay.
Don't judge anyone. They're all trying to do their best. 2, let things be the way they are. You know, we can't control it. The things that you cannot control, don't worry about it, because control what's, the only thing in your control is yourself. So that's what you can control. And so instead of trying to change the world, just, I seem to find those are the people that are attracted to me also. Like attracts like. I mean, and I always, this is the sort of attraction that we get. So if you really want to have people that are meaningful or the same sort of person that you are, that's the energy you have to send out. So that's how it's affected me, because there are times, not only financially, because I'm running a business, but I get so much more when people walk in and when they spend some money, when they tell me how they've been touched or how they feel special by being in the store. I realize that it goes beyond just a financial level. And a lot of my customers who start out as in a business relationship and end up being very close friends, who walk by my store and they come in. And we always ask them, what was the reason that you came into the store? Oh, we do internet marketing, we have word of mouth, maybe they saw something in the newspaper. And a lot of guys said to me, not a lot, a few people have said to me, we passed by and we saw you, and you looked like an honest guy, or you looked very peaceful, and that's why we came in. And a lot of times they come inside the store and they say, they're talking to my staff, and I happen to be standing there, and they say, he seems so peaceful and relaxed.
Who was so angry about you cutting her off. She might have been angry about you cutting her off, or maybe she was just having a really bad day in general. And so that just tipped her off. But then in the one gesture of saying, hey, I'm really sorry, that offering of peace and compassion, she went from to and changed her whole demeanor. And who knows what she had for the rest of her day, or who she interacted with, and how many lives that she touched, and how many lives that were touched by the people around them. So we are on this planet, and it's a circle. So it does come back to us. So maybe one of the things that we can remember is how what we put out really does come back to us. And maybe, is there any insight you have on that about what?
The news list today, they were talking about stress, and they had, in the hospital, they had monitored a few people who had stress, and they had the babies that were with them, and how much their vibration affected the babies. Their whole heart rate when the parents were under stress. So you don't scream and shout, but you have an inner, a lot of us don't vocalize what we don't. We have the anger inside of us, but maybe my staff cannot speak back to me, or they don't want to say anything, or your children don't want to talk back to you. But that inner stress that's caused, or they're holding it inside, is, you know, it's like secondhand smoke. It's a secondhand stress. I mean, it's affecting everybody around you. Once I realized that, I put my hand up and turned around and said, I really am sorry, I didn't realize that. So I think people, they're all searching. And the minute you go give back that negative energy to them, it just escalates. And the minute, you know, we see it, and we see people upset, and then we judge them and say, you know, that's not the way they should be behaving. Because that's not the right way, because I meditate and I know better, and that's not the way they should behave. Like, my ego is now high, and I'm higher than they are. That's not the way to look at it. They're still going through their own journey, and you just have to have mercy and say, you know what, they'll learn one day, they'll understand that that's not really the right way. I drive to work with I drive to the Heat games with my son. Oh.
Attachment, an ego. And isn't that something, a part of it? Ego. Why? Tell us why.
Well, because it's all about me, you know. The ego is, I want it done this way. It has to be done the way I like it. That's what, you know, it's causing all that ego, that they're not listening to the way I want it to be done.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what's going. And once we just allow them to be, people to be the way they are, you know, like I was coming here, and I wanted to leave early because I know the traffic sometimes is crazy. So I come out of my house, and it's bumper to bumper. I said, I hope I have Ross's number because I might not make it to Hollywood. But I said, you know, I'm coming here for a good reason. We just create most of them. I want to be healthy, and I want to be, you know, content, and I find that's what's helped me.
Has it infected your home life?
I hope so.
In what way?
You know, we've been married 31 years. In the first 4, 5, 10 years maybe, you know, for always little arguments.
Of course.
And between us, well, I don't argue anymore. You know, my wife understands me. You know,
That's a gem, yes? Put the crown on, Russ.
Wise guy.
I love her. I accept who she is. She's the complete opposite of who I am. You know, I love the beach. I love going out dancing. She likes to sit at home, relax. But we compliment
There's
each
this
other.
feeling that anger can be used as a tool. That, you know, if I get angry, if I shout, if I yell, then I'll get what I want because they'll listen. They'll be afraid. You mentioned that was your upbringing in a way. 20 years later now, you've been meditating and have found a good peace. Now, a lot of us can know what the difference is between being angry and feeling at peace. But what if anything has changed in your external life, in your family life? You mentioned a little bit about your store, how there's a difference in your store. What other kind of differences have you seen, if any, with your new approach of being peaceful rather than resorting to anger?
Well, everything runs smoother. You know, they say when you get angry, let go and say, you know, they're going to do it their way, regardless of what I tell them. Then I just feel just relaxed. I want to sweat the small stuff. Let them do what they have to do. But when I'm peaceful, I walk into my business, they sense it. The whole atmosphere, the whole energy of the place, everything works much better. If I start screaming and shouting, nothing works. Because they're all so concerned about pleasing me, or, you know, then they just don't concentrate on what they're doing. And that when they're not concentrating on what they're doing and they're making mistakes, I get even more upset, you know, and so I just have to learn. You know, I'm the chief energy officer. So my energy is what runs the whole store. And when everything is running, people walk in there, and but we have like 10 stores to see them. You know?
Oh, that's a big one, expectations, okay. That's
When I realize that I'm not the judge and jury over them, and they can do whatever they want, and if I really want to change, like my children or my staff, the change begins with me. You know, it's not me trying to change them, because I can't change them. And, you know, I realize that and I know that, but still, if they do something wrong, if they don't, they tell me they're gonna do something, they don't do it, or if I ask them to do something, they say, yes, I'm gonna do it, and they forget, that triggers me sometimes. But I did have to realize that if we all are trying, you know, we're all in different stages of our lives. You know, I might have been meditating 20 years, and 20 years ago I had a different understanding. And today, I have a little better understanding of how.
What about the anger? Helps you to see that that wasn't right for you, that there was another.
Well, first of all, physically, you know, I had my whole skin, you know, I had a skin condition, it was just getting aggravated and worse, and I was hurting people. You know, I was, you know, we all know people don't like it when you speak to them rudely or get angry, you know, and that's what I was doing. And I realized not only was I hurting myself physically, I was also hurting people emotionally, and you know, I was not creating an atmosphere. It just didn't feel right. You know, it was just something that just didn't gel with me. You know, I realized I had to do something about it. So I was at the gym at Biltmore, and I saw a sign that says, "Learn how to meditate." And so I picked up the phone and I called and spoke to this lady on the phone who seemed so peaceful and tranquil. And I said, you know what, maybe I should check this thing out. So I went and started the course and learned, you know, what all my behaviors were all about. And since then I've been practicing meditation, and I have my anger under control. Do I never get angry? I once in a while, you know, get annoyed, but I realize that that's not the right way for me, and I, you know, go back to practicing my meditation and